the only safe and effective squat you need to strengthen your legs after 60. Many doctors may not say this openly, but the fact is that after 60 years of age, every fall can change everything. A hip fracture, a surgery, months of recovery, and the beginning of all of this is almost always the gradual loss of leg strength that nobody took seriously in time. The problem is not age. It is that most people either stop exercising out of fear of getting hurt, or they train the wrong way and end up suffering knee, hip, and lower back pain that could have been completely avoided. The body after 60 does not need less movement, it needs the right movement. That is why today you will see the only squat that is both safe for your joints and powerful enough to truly transform the strength and stability of your legs. Plus 5 additional exercises to further strengthen your quadriceps, glutes, calves, and hamstrings. Before we begin, please tell us through the comments your name and the city from which you are watching our content. We would love to know. Main exercise, Sumo squat. The Sumo squat is, without a shadow of a doubt, the most important exercise in this routine, and one of the smartest movements any person over 60 can include in their training. While the conventional squat tends to generate excessive tension in the lower back and knees of people with reduced mobility, the Sumo squat distributes the load in a much more balanced way across the joints, and simultaneously engages a larger number of muscle groups, making it safer and more complete at the same time. It works the quadriceps, the gluteus maximus, the inner thigh adductors, the hamstrings, and the stabilizing core muscles in an integrated way, all in a single functional movement. These are exactly the muscles that support the hip, stabilize the knees, and protect the spine during virtually all daily activities. From picking objects up off the floor to climbing stairs, from walking on uneven terrain to simply sitting down and standing up from a chair safely. The benefits go far beyond muscle strengthening. It is worth noting that the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the human body, something the vast majority of people simply do not know. And keeping it strong after 60 is fundamental for pelvic stability and for the daily protection of the lower back. Research on fall prevention also shows that individuals with greater lower limb strength have up to 40% less risk of suffering falls. Can you imagine the impact of that on your daily life? In this age group, that number can represent the difference between an active and independent life and a long period of rehabilitation. To perform it correctly, position your feet wider than shoulder width apart, with your toes pointing outward at approximately 45 degrees. Distribute your weight by prioritizing support through your heels. Keep your chest lifted, your abdomen contracted, and your shoulders slightly back. The descent should be slow and controlled, as if you were going to sit down in an imaginary chair just behind you, taking 3 to 4 seconds to reach the lowest point. The knees must follow exactly the direction of the feet throughout the entire movement, without caving inward. When rising, push the floor with your heels and contract your glutes firmly, without fully locking your knees at the end. A bonus tip: if you have difficulty keeping your heels on the ground during the descent, place a thin book or a folded towel under them. This temporarily reduces the mobility demand on the ankle and allows for safer execution while you develop the necessary flexibility. The main errors to avoid are allowing the knees to cave inward during the movement, which overloads the internal structures of the joint in a very damaging way. Leaning the torso too far forward, transferring unnecessary tension to the lower back and taking the focus away from the glutes. Lifting the heels off the ground, which compromises balance and the entire mechanics of the exercise. And rising in an abrupt and uncontrolled manner, wasting the eccentric phase of the movement, which is responsible for up to 40% of the muscle development potential. Perform 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions, with 45 to 60 seconds of rest between them. As execution improves, progress to 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions, with the same controlled descent. The Sumo squat is contraindicated for those experiencing acute pain in the knees, hip, or lower back without professional guidance. Mild muscle soreness the following day is normal. Joint pain during execution is a signal to stop and seek guidance before resuming. Now that you know the main exercise in this routine, it is time for the supplementary exercises to provide an even more complete and stronger development of your lower body. Bonus exercise, step up. The step up is a functional and complementary exercise that deserves far more attention than it typically receives in home workouts, especially for those over 60. It directly simulates the movement of climbing steps, one of the daily activities that most challenges and exposes the strength and balance limitations in this age group. Think about it. How many times a day do you go up and down stairs, curbs, or steps without even noticing? The step-up transforms exactly that movement pattern into an intelligent strengthening exercise, and it does so in a unilateral way, working one leg at a time, which is valuable for identifying and correcting imbalances between both sides of the body. Almost everyone has one side stronger than the other, and actively working on that makes a real difference in the safety of every movement. The muscles worked primarily are the quadriceps, the gluteus maximus, and the calves, along with intense activation of the knee, ankle, and hip stabilizers throughout the entire movement. This combination improves not only muscle strength, but also proprioception and motor coordination, components that are fundamental for fall prevention. Regular practitioners report a notable improvement in confidence when moving through environments with uneven or irregular surfaces. To perform it, use a firm step, a workout step platform, or a stable and sturdy chair. Place one foot completely on the surface, ensuring the entire heel is well positioned, not just the toes. Push through the heel of that foot to raise the body in a controlled manner until you are fully standing on the elevated surface, bringing the other foot alongside it. Step back down carefully, keeping the torso upright throughout. The key is to ensure that the drive comes primarily from the foot that is on the step. If you feel insecure at first, hold lightly onto a wall or handrail only for balance without using your hands to help with the ascent. The main errors to avoid are pushing off with the foot that is on the ground instead of the foot on the step, which drastically reduces muscle recruitment and the benefit of the exercise. Rising with excessive sideways swaying of the torso, and descending quickly and carelessly, wasting the eccentric phase and increasing the risk of losing balance. Perform 3 sets of 8 to 10 repetitions on each leg, completing all repetitions on one side before switching. Rest 45 to 60 seconds between sets. It is contraindicated for those with serious balance problems, acute knee pain, or severe ankle instability without prior professional assessment. Bonus exercise, elevated feet glute bridge. The elevated feet glute bridge is a smart progression of the traditional glute bridge and an excellent supplementary exercise to deeply activate the glutes and hamstrings, while also strengthening the core and protecting the lower back. For people over 60, this strengthening is especially valuable as the posterior chain is directly responsible for supporting the hip, protecting the spine, and facilitating fundamental functional movements such as rising from chairs, walking with more vigor, and carrying any type of load safely. The hamstrings are a muscle group frequently neglected in home workouts, which tend to focus almost exclusively on the quadriceps. When they are significantly weaker than the quadriceps, the risk of knee pain, joint injuries, and lower back problems increases considerably. The elevated feet bridge works both of these groups in an integrated way, with zero impact on the joints and complete accessibility to be performed at home, with no special equipment required. To perform it, lie on your back on the floor with your knees bent and rest your feet on a firm chair or sofa of moderate height, around 40 to 50 centimeters. Contract your abdomen, push your heels against the surface, and lift your hips upward in a controlled manner, strongly contracting the glutes at the highest point of the movement. At the top, you should form a straight line between your knees, hips, and shoulders. Hold that position for 2 seconds, feeling the contraction clearly before descending slowly, without letting the hips hit the floor before the next repetition. The main errors to avoid are arching the lower back excessively at the top, which transfers tension to the spine instead of the glutes, allowing the knees to open outward during the movement, using a surface that is too high for the feet, and not consciously and deliberately contracting the glutes at the highest point, which drastically reduces muscle activation and the real benefits of the exercise. Perform 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions with 45 to 60 seconds of rest between them. As you progress, advance to 3 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions with the same quality of execution. It is contraindicated for those with an acute disc herniation or intense lower back pain without prior medical evaluation. Before we continue, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with health over the long term in the world of exercise. Bonus exercise: single leg balance. Single leg balance is one of the most underestimated exercises within a routine for people over 60, and at the same time, one of the most impactful for daily safety and independence. By supporting your weight on just one leg, you are simultaneously training the stability of the ankle, knee, and hip, strengthening the deep, stabilizing muscles that are rarely recruited in bilateral exercises, and developing proprioception, which is the nervous system's ability to perceive and adjust the body's position in space in real time. This quality begins to deteriorate rapidly from 60 years of age onward when it is not actively trained, making it one of the most determining factors in fall prevention. Research in the field of geriatrics shows that the ability to balance on one leg for more than 10 seconds is directly associated with a significantly lower risk of falls and premature mortality in older adults. It is a simple test that reveals a great deal about the functional health of the neuromuscular system. And the best part, it can be progressively trained by anyone, regardless of their initial level of balance. To perform it, stand close to lift 1 foot off the ground by slightly bending the knee and maintain balance on the supporting leg, with the knee slightly flexed, never locked in full extension. Fix your gaze on a stationary point in front of you at eye level. This activates the visual orientation systems and significantly improves the stability of the entire posture. The main errors to avoid are locking the knee of the supporting leg in full extension, which reduces muscle work and increases joint stress. Looking downward during the exercise, compromising both balance and postural pattern, and dismissing the safety support before having sufficient control, which unnecessarily raises the risk of falling during the workout itself. As this is an isometric exercise, hold for 20 to 30 seconds on each leg, performing 3 sets per side with 30 seconds of rest between them. As you progress, gradually increase to 40 to 60 seconds per position. It is contraindicated for those experiencing active vertigo, labyrinthitis in crisis, or severe neurological impairment that significantly affects balance. Bonus exercise: bodyweight stiff leg deadlift. The bodyweight stiff leg deadlift is a complementary exercise that deserves special attention in any routine for people over 60. The hamstrings and glutes are chronically neglected muscle groups in most home workouts, which tend to focus almost exclusively on the quadriceps. This imbalance between the anterior chain and the posterior chain is a real problem. When the hamstrings are significantly weaker than the quadriceps, the risk of knee pain, joint instability, and lower back problems increases considerably. The stiff leg deadlift corrects exactly this imbalance, working the posterior chain in a lengthened and controlled way, something few simple exercises without equipment can offer with the same efficiency. What makes this exercise particularly valuable is its dual function. It strengthens the hamstrings and glutes while at the same time improving hip mobility and posterior chain flexibility. These two factors are directly related to lower back health and to the quality of movement in everyday activities such as putting on shoes, picking objects up off the floor, and getting in and out of vehicles. Regular practitioners report a reduction in chronic lower back discomfort and a considerable improvement in the ease with which they perform these apparently simple tasks, which progressively become more difficult without proper training. To perform it, stand with your feet hip-width apart and your knees slightly flexed. Pull your shoulders slightly back, open your chest, and contract your abdomen to stabilize the spine. Then, hinge your torso forward from the hip as if you were folding a hinge located exactly at that joint, not in the lower back. Your hands descend toward your thighs and then toward your shins, while you progressively feel the stretch in your hamstrings. When you feel you can no longer keep the spine straight without rounding your back, that is your lowest point. Return by pushing your hips forward and firmly contracting your glutes. The main errors to avoid are rounding the back during the descent, which transfers all the tension to the intervertebral discs in a damaging way. Bending the knees too much, which takes the focus away from the hamstrings and completely changes the exercise. And performing the movement quickly, losing the benefits of the eccentric phase and increasing the risk of muscle strains. Perform 3 sets of 10 to 12 repetitions in a slow and controlled manner, taking 3 to 4 seconds to complete the descent, with 45 to 60 seconds of rest between sets. As you progress, advance to 3 sets of 12 to 15 repetitions with the same control. It is contraindicated for those with an active lumbar disc herniation or sciatica in acute crisis. Bonus exercise: calf raises. Calf raises close this sequence on a high note. The calf is often called the second heart of the body, and that expression is no exaggeration. The gastrocnemius and soleus muscles function as an active venous return pump. With each contraction, they push blood back up to the heart against the force of gravity. When these muscles are weak and underdeveloped, circulation in the lower limbs worsens, favoring swelling in the legs, the sensation of heaviness at the end of the day, and the risk of more serious vascular complications over time. Strengthening the calves, therefore, is not just a matter of physical performance. It is a matter directly linked to circulatory health. Beyond this fundamental circulatory function, the calves play a direct and constant role in the body's balance. They are the muscles that make fine stability adjustments at every moment you are standing or walking. When they are weak, the ability to recover from an unexpected loss of balance diminishes noticeably, increasing the risk of falls. Strengthening the calves is literally strengthening the foundation upon which the entire body rests with every step. To perform calf raises correctly, stand with your feet parallel and hip-width apart, holding lightly onto the back of a chair or wall for balance only, without resting your body weight through your hands. Rise slowly onto the balls of your feet, lifting your heels as high as possible and seeking the greatest range of motion at the top of the movement. Pause for 1 to 2 seconds at the highest point, consciously feeling the contraction of the calf, and descend with equal control without letting the heel hit the floor with impact. The main errors to avoid are rising and descending quickly and mechanically, without control during the eccentric phase, which turns the exercise into a simple swaying motion with no real benefit. Not completing the full range of motion, both on the way up and on the way down, and placing excessive weight through the hands on the support, which removes the balance component that makes the exercise even more complete and functional. Perform 3 sets of 15 to 20 repetitions with 30 to 45 seconds of rest between them. The calf recovers more quickly than other muscle groups, and shorter intervals work very well for it. As you progress, advance to 3 sets of 20 to 25 repetitions, or begin performing the exercise on a step for a greater range of motion. It is contraindicated for those with Achilles tendonitis in the acute phase or recent ankle injuries still in the recovery process. If you enjoyed this content and also want to discover the stretches used by the Japanese to maintain a body with strength and vitality, up to 100 years of age, we have left a video appearing on screen right now, showing each one of them in detail. Make sure to check it out. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and God bless you, my friend.